Thus far in the biblical story, we have followed an overarching plot in which God is at work in and through Israel, Jesus, and the early church. And all three are significant for us, since we are now called to take our place in the story and to continue the mission of Israel, to continue the mission of Jesus and of the early church. First, we are called to continue the mission of Israel, to be a light to the nations. God promised to make Abraham a great nation through whom he would restore the blessing of creation to all nations. He was blessed to be a blessing. That nation was to be the new humanity, to embody God's original creational intention for human life for the sake of the nations. They were summoned to embody God's purpose of restoration, the goal of the story, and obedience as wide as creation itself. If Israel was obedient to this calling, they would be a light to the world. The attractiveness of their life would draw the nations to God. Today, Israel's mission has become our mission as the global church scattered throughout the world. Second, we are called to continue the mission of Jesus to make known the kingdom. Though Israel largely failed in their calling, Jesus did not. He fulfilled Israel's vocation and gathered a community of his followers, charging them to continue what he had begun. We have been baptized into that community and so are called to continue Jesus' mission. Jesus' mission centered on the coming of God's kingdom, the restoration of God's rule over all of human life. We continue as witnesses to this comprehensive salvation. Jesus embodied the kingdom in his life, announced it in his words, and demonstrated it in his deeds. He welcomed the poor and the marginalized, formed a community, teaching them how to live under God's rule. He suffered as he challenged the idolatrous culture of his time that opposed God's reign, and he prayed for the eventually coming of the kingdom in its fullness. All of this shapes our mission today as we follow Jesus. But our own cultural situation is different from that of first century Palestine. Jesus did not leave us with a rigid model of mission for us to imitate mindlessly, but rather invites us to do what he did in creative and imaginative ways amidst the new and different cultural contexts in which he places us. Finally, we are called to continue the mission of the early church, to bear faithful witness to Jesus. The early church was charged to witness to the good news of Jesus everywhere, in life, word, and deed, and among all peoples until the end. With the coming of the Spirit, the church both enjoyed and embodied a foretaste of salvation of the kingdom. The ultimate banquet, the ultimate kingdom banquet awaits a future time. Yet those who follow Christ have begun already to taste it. As the church enjoys this foretaste, it becomes a foretaste, or if you will, a preview of what the future kingdom looks like. Think of a movie preview, a movie trailer, made up of snippets of actual footage from a future coming attraction. The trailer is designed to create interest for the film when it is released in the future. The church is to be a kind of trailer for the kingdom, real footage of the life of the kingdom today, designed to interest and attract others to the main feature when it at last comes out. The early church communities in Jerusalem and Antioch established healthy patterns of communal life, devoting themselves to God's means of grace, the Word, prayer, fellowship, the Lord's Supper, and more, in order to build up their new life in Christ. And as a result, these communities received the life of the Spirit to become attractive previews of the coming kingdom, drawing people to Christ. Beyond this local witness, the Antioch church also sent Paul and Barnabas to places where there were no witnessing communities. Thus, we too should be characterized by a zeal for witness, both nearby and far away, here and to the ends of the earth. Though this witness gives meaning to this era of God's story, it can be easily misinterpreted. Christian witness may be reduced to mere evangelism or cross-cultural missions. Though these are important elements of our witness to Christ, they are not the whole of it. When we grasp that the salvation of the kingdom restores all of human life, we begin to see that our witness to God's kingdom must be as wide as life itself. We witness to what it means to be truly human as God intended. And though we may suffer as we encounter other equally comprehensive and competing religious stories that seek to shape our culture, we must witness to Christ's claim to be Lord over every square inch and every split second of human experience.